Quinoa today is viewed as a major staple in maintaining a healthy diet and food security in underdeveloped nations. However, how did a relatively unknown crop from South America turn into a global industry within a short period of time? And how has this rapid change impacted local producers and consumers within South America? Today, on The Resident Economist, we'll dive into the impact of quinoa and what it really means for the producers and consumers of South America. Until the 1970s, quinoa remained virtually unknown outside the Andean region. Due to an arduous agricultural environment and low price, production and consumption of quinoa within Bolivia and Peru was significantly decentralized, as the opportunity cost of producing other goods such as corn and other agricultural products was higher. However, in 2007, the quinoa market underwent radical changes. The robustness and health properties of quinoa led the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization to recommend this crop to nations with high food insecurity. Furthermore, quinoa demand soared amongst health-conscious consumers in Western nations. This demand is reflected in a fourfold increase in exports between 2007 and 2017. During this period, the gross amount of quinoa exported increased from 12,000 tons to 53,000 tons, leading the United Nations dubbing 2013 as the Year of Quinoa. Despite this, many news articles are reporting that the increase in price is significantly decreasing the welfare of local consumers within South America. But is this actually true? Due to markedly increased foreign demand, the domestic price of previously affordable quinoa surged approximately 600%. This increase in price is illustrated by using a simple demand and supply model. Keeping it simple, demand has increased both price and quantity in the market. This is reflected in real data where quinoa rose rapidly from approximately 3,000 USD in 2010 to 7,000 USD per ton in 2013. The price per ton of quinoa dropped significantly in the following year to approximately 4,200 USD in 2014. This price drop was resulting from an increase in competition from more advanced companies with greater technology and high levels of capital per worker. How did this really affect the welfare of local producers, though? Despite many news articles describing that the welfare of local producers and consumers has significantly decreased, resulting from an increase of price in the market, economic theory, on the other hand, tells a completely different story. Economic welfare refers to the economic well-being expressed in terms of producer and consumer surplus, and is commonly referred to as community surplus. Producer surplus originates from when the market price is higher than the price of production. On the other hand, consumer surplus refers to when expected benefit is higher than cost. The price of quinoa increased resulting from demand. This was beneficial most obviously for local producers who saw a significantly larger producer surplus than before. This is because they could now sell their goods for significantly higher price. Not only did this benefit local producers though, but also the consumers of this product. Due to high demand, the expected benefit from quinoa increased. This also resulted in an increase in consumer surplus. Crazily enough, despite what the media says, the total welfare of the economy had increased. Also, Mark Bellemare, an agricultural economist at the University of Minnesota, surveyed 22,000 random Peruvian households from 2004 to 2014. Despite the increased price of quinoa, the overall living standards within the nation grew. The farmers, who belonged to the poorest demographic, consumed their own products. Therefore, soaring quinoa prices had little to no effect on their consumption. Furthermore, their wealth grew by a factor of 2 times compared to other groups in Peru and Bolivia. This absolutely awesome graph also shows that the price increase of quinoa between 2013 and 2014 had a positive effect on the consumption of producers and consumers. Look at this graph! Quinoa producers witnessed a large spike in consumption from 1.3 in 2012 to approximately 1.45 in 2013, therefore heavily benefiting from the large increase in price. The consumption of quinoa by consumers also increased from approximately 1.25 to 1.30 from the year 2012 to 2013. This dictates that despite increasing prices, the overall consumption of quinoa by consumers and producers increased, meaning that the increase in overall quinoa price was advantageous for society. Although in the short run, the increased quinoa price was beneficial to both Peruvian and Bolivian producer and consumer economic welfare, in the long run, quinoa represents a double-edged sword for South American nations. Increased prices have resulted in more profitable but less diversified economies, making nations who have committed to quinoa significantly more vulnerable to market risk in the long run. This is shown as the price of quinoa has now slumped back to pre-2013 levels. A more interesting note, however, was the media's portrayal of local producers of quinoa being short-sighted and not supported by economic theory. It is clear that we need to look deeper than just media reports to gain the full scope of the situation. This was your residential economist on South America's quinoa problem. I hope you have learned something today and enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing to help the channel grow and give the video a thumbs up. Thanks guys.